What's your full name?
John Smithers.
I'm by winning.
And what deck are you playing today?
Well, you can call it Boros, or you can call it Caw of the Hammer. Go really, really fast, and don't let your opponent get on his feet. Just clear the way, and usually Step Links and Goblin Guide clean them up. And then you also, have the backup plan of the best card in Standard, which is Stoneforge Mystic. So, because if you think about it, the Callblade, the Menace, Jace is not even the card you never want to slam Jace turn 4 anymore. It's all about resolving and protecting a Stoneforge Mystic, because he lets you cheat 10 mana into play, the equivalent of 10 mana by turn like 3. When you think of cards throughout the history of Magic that have been banned or been considered overly powerful or been considered banning, it's all on the function, it's all on the basis of the fact that these cards cheat mana. Think of a card like Black Lotus, you essentially get 3 mana where you should only get 1. Think of a card like Aether Vial, that card has gotten under serious scrutiny, banning, that card lets you cheat exponential mana in, as the game progresses. So Stoneforge is the same problem. You're not supposed to have a Battered Skull in play on turn 3, but you can. And the fact that it interacts so well with the swords, and the fact that it's an inherent card advantage engine, and it's a body on its own. There's just so many good things about Stoneforge. You just make it retarded. The printing of Battered Skull really pushed it way over the top, because it invalidated a lot of aggressive strategies, not only in Standard but in Extended, Legacy. It's so unfair to cheat such a really overpowered card into play by paying virtually no mana.
Yeah.
And that's why Stoneforge needs to go. I mean, I've posted some pretty respectable finishes here and there, but nothing approaching the scale of a GP win. I used to play a lot of Vintage when it was actually fun, when Brainstorm was around and Time Vault wasn't. So, and back then, that's all I played. I just played Vintage, and I posted some really good large tournament results in Vintage, but nothing compares to GP, which then qualified me for Worlds, which was Pro Tour in Paris, and yeah, it was by far, my magical crowning achievement. It's important to realize that people want to win. One of the driving factors for me playing Magic is I'm competitive. I'm a competitor, and in sports, and in cards and in games and in everything, I don't enjoy losing. So people think that if they can get an edge by playing a net deck, by playing, Jerry T's newest brew or Conley's sickest technology, like, if people think they can get an edge and that'll help them win, then that's what they're going to do. If that's going to annoy you, and if you're going to get upset by people playing a net deck or whatever have you, it's not so much that you need to be angry with them, but you need to ask yourself, like, what are you in this game for? Are you going to large tournaments like the CMT today? Are you going to PTQs? Like, are you after that flair of innovation? You got to sit back and accept the fact that you're going to play against Callblade. You're going to play against, Splinter Twin. You're going to play against these good decks at a tournament. If your desire is to brew a deck that can beat those things, then all the power to you. And if you manage to succeed, I'll give you my email address, and you can let me know what you've brewed up. One day's technology, the next day everyone has it. Star City Games, Channel Fireball, all of them. People make living writing articles about the newest tech, the newest cool deck idea, and I'm a brewer. I worked with a number of other local guys to come up with the Tempered Steel deck for Worlds, and then for Grand Prix Atlanta we came up with a pretty innovative Valakut strategy as well. I find that I can get an edge against the popular decks, the fairies or what have you, by playing abstract decks that people aren't going to know how to interact with you. So if you succeed, you can get an edge and you can win, and it's good. But it's important, like I said before, to not get upset when you're playing against a net deck, or
Right.
It's your strategy to beat those. That's your goal as a brewer nowadays, as an innovator. I think this kind of event was almost like a proving ground for the Ottawa community. We had, I think, 130 some odd players here today in the main event. Anyhow, there were others that were kind of roaming around. Yeah, I'm sure everyone who has laid down a basic land in the past 2 months has heard about this event. Events like this are what the Ottawa community needs to grow the tournament scene. Anyway, I know we have a very strong FNM scene, casual scene. The tournament scene here, the tournament crowd is growing. We have, on average, between 4 to 6 full cars of vehicles that travel to Montreal for every PTQ. But yeah, these kind of large events are what we need to keep the scene growing. I'll say this: I never want to play my friends because
Okay.
I hate eliminating them or being eliminated by them because there's always an awkward feeling. It's never good playing as a friend. In a tournament setting, because when there's a do or die mentality. When you're in a casual setting, you prefer playing as a friend. As far as decks go, I don't want to play Valakut because that has a habit of chomping down on aggro decks, and that's what I am. That is a tough part of competitive of tournament level Magic. Especially at a level like this where there's $3,000 on the line. You can't always just be Mr. Nice Guy and let every mistake pass, and you can't allow stuff like take-backs and whoops, I didn't mean to do that kind of things. I'm here to win. That's the thing. And at the end of the match, that all the tough guy mentality, all the judge calls, all the
posturing,
you can't do that. All the posturing, it goes. Hopefully, if you and your opponent can agree to it, you're supposed to let that stuff all slide. You're one person during the match, and after the match, you're just two nerds playing Magic cards. So you want even the casual players or the players who are a little weaker, who don't know the interactions or don't know what a certain card does. You want them to learn so that they can be better players, so that they can grow the community in the long run, right? You don't just want everyone to suck forever because then, there's not going to be any growth. And the same people who keep losing are eventually going to get tired of losing and they're just going to stop playing. And that's not what you want. You want a social environment where you can help other people, get better, learn more, and, eventually have them be in the position where you are, where you're winning or you're a GP champion, that kind of stuff. So, I certainly didn't get there in a day. I had a lot of people help me, test, play a lot against, and practice with. It's a steep learning curve, but it's not as simple as go fish. There's millions of interactions that you can encounter in a game, and once you include the poker side, the bluffing, the reads, the posturing, like you said, there's a lot of play, and that's what makes the game so exciting. The fact that there's so much you can do with the same cards as everyone else. Your view on it or how you play can be very different from how the guy next to you can play with the exact same cards in his hand, in play, in his deck, everything. And the result can swing one way or the other. So that's what makes the game very skill testing and fun.
I'm Chris Jones.
And what deck are you playing today?
I'm playing Blue Edge Win.
And why aren't you playing right now?
Because I got a buy.
When did you get a buy?
Yesterday. It was sweet.
So you kind of slid into the buy, right?
Pretty much, yeah. I grew up like a master to get the buy, but it's all good.
Good stuff.
He goes active ascension. I have exile. I go into the royal, kicked one, it resolves, I draw a card. I go untap, draw a card, twin goes double fierce, I go pay 4, resolves, I win. Thanks for the buy.
Right on. Good stuff. Sounds pretty simple.
Oh, it was awesome. That's how it's done, too.
That's good, man.